So, you guys have finished your meeting. What would you like to do with the rest of that day?
Right. What is it now, like?
About midday.
Midday.
Mm-hmm.
There.
What's happening now at the castle?
The visitors that were here earlier have left. And so all the guards are back at their usual stations, ready to go. And Clovis and Griselda are kind of organizing to have this memo sent out to everyone, like, hey, make sure you're ready for the
drill.
The drill, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't really think I personally had any extra prep I needed to do, so what about you guys?
There was probably something I wanted to do, but I don't know if it's actually going to be useful for what we're going to do. There's only one way to find out. It would be trying it.
Alright, so what did you want to do?
I wanted to put runes on something again, but I need to find something to put the runes on.
Okay.
I want something that's shaped like a plate, basically, or like a disc of some sort.
Just steal a plate. Just straight up steal a plate from the kitchen.
The kitchen has plates.
Lazara's done that with wine.
Hey, Clovis, do you mind if I borrow a plate? It's like, sure, what are you gonna use it for? It's gonna blow up. Okay, cool.
It's a safety hazard.
I feel like they're just gonna throw this and it's gonna like just go completely sideways and then it's gonna be like that. What the fuck, Richard?
Yeah, I've already stolen wine from the castle, so I doubt he's gonna care.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's a plate.
He's pretty chill about it.
I mean, I don't want to steal the plates.
You steal from corpses.
Yeah, but they're not dead, they're alive.
Yeah, you could probably buy one somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's not actually a plate. I need just something that's like shaped like one, like something that's like just a disc.
Like a disc, yeah. Yeah, you can find I suppose plates would be the closest thing that would be the cheapest.
You could use the top of Gunther's skull.
I mean, you could also use a shield or, all kinds of shit.
Let me take.
You find like a buckler.
Oh hey, don't rations come into a tin or something?
Sure.
Is that the right shape? Because I could just use my rations. I don't even use them.
If you flatten it out, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll use that.
Have the boot. We don't need rations.
Yeah, you have the boot. So you stomp your empty ration tin out, making sure first that it is empty.
Yeah.
And
I feel like we're hearing this like out.
Into dinner. But yeah, you just stomp on it, clang, and it flattens out into more or less a disc.
So, shit, I forgot to share the details with that before. I wanted to do it before the day to save time, but I guess I'll do it now. Basically, what I want to try and do is that when you drop it, it just pops like kind of a bubble shield kind of thing.
Okay.
The way I was thinking about it, maybe it's too complicated or something, but I was thinking maybe trying to make it work like a little bit like the tiny hut spell, but instead like it's just like it's a shield with HP or something. Like it can break, takes enough damage.
Okay. All right. might be a little tricky. But so you
If
have like a
anything, I
10
can save that one for another day because I have written notes and more details, but it's like too detailed to be quick to do.
Yeah.
So I can just save it for another day.
Okay.
If ain't other than
So
that,
Gunther just randomly stomps on a can.
Yeah, another.
I'll have it. I'll have it ready for next time.
I was gonna say you would have to like, if you wanted to like break it to activate it, that would have to be like you'd need like a plate for that, not like your tin thing. Because if you drop it on the floor to break it, I mean it's a tin thing. It's just gonna lay on the floor.
Yeah, what I was thinking was just like to kind of like trace a motion on it or something on it and then drop it.
Okay. Well,
I like
we
those
can-
methods
we
of
can figure that
activation
out.
better than breaking things because it's more reliable.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, we can figure that out.
Oh yeah, I'll
Um,
send you info on that like during the week.
Cool.
In the meantime, I'm just gonna update my inventory and replace my rations with a flattened tin.
Jesus.
Alrighty.
If anyone has something they want to do, you can go with them first while I think about stuff. Quick.
All right. So you guys might hear like that squeaky in the background. It's just my mum vacuuming in the vacuum like against the tiles.
It's
She
okay.
always picks like the worst time. But anyway, the bubble shield thing is something you'll message me. So
Yeah, I'll
easy.
send that to you like maybe tomorrow if I have time.
Okay. What did everyone else want to do?
Personally, didn't really have a lot planned for the rest of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too. At the moment, I don't really have any ideas.
Cool. All right. So
We can just all assume that Faye's just in her room, like consistently screaming into a pillow right now.
oh,
Like you just walk past her door and it's just like you hear just muffled screaming.
Fuck. Does she
Just,
still have,
you can just very faintly hear the words "I hear you, Lazara."
No. She left before she could even hear Lazara like basically like defend her, like it's fine that she reads porn. Like Faye already like fucking bolted. God damn it.
honestly, like so many people in that room read porn that it's like no one can judge me.
Like you guys aren't allowed to judge me.
There's
She
sort
will
of
start
like-
her second book later tonight though. Not right now. It's the damage has been done. She has to have like a good 2 hours or so to recuperate from that.
I was gonna say there's for like only 3 people in that entire room that had never read like smut.
yeah.
You can't count them on one hand.
Yeah. So you guys, for the rest of the day, spend your time like gathering yourselves and relaxing.
We hang out.
You hang out until such a time that it's appropriate to continue reading.
Starting on my second book.
Yep.
Actually, I know what I'll probably want to do, but it's not gonna. Hey, you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna do that. Sorry.
All jokes. So you spend the day doing that and get your rest. The next day,
Sorry.
you Pris was playing with a lucky band and then it just like launched and she didn't know where it went. I was just enjoying watching her look around confused. Anyway, so the
The
next
way
day,
you were laughing, I got confused. You're like, the next day is like, and the dragon showed up. Like, oh jeez.
everybody died. No,
Roll new character, TPK. I'm kidding. Knock on wood.
No, the next day, everyone's getting ready for the funeral.
Gotta say it fancy.
Yeah, people are dressing up in their sort of finer clothing, and a lot of them are bearing the sort of red colors of like the Vaskyr sort of thing.
Curious.
And they gather at the place where they're doing this, sort of like a kind of like a family crypt. And there's a large open space before it that sets as a nice place for the proceedings. And the funeral director comes out and says some words about why everyone's there, and relates it to,
I'm sorry, I just thought of something. It was like this one quote where it's all like at like a funeral, and it's like, we're all gathered here today because someone had to die.
Oh shit.
Because somebody had to die. Sorry. Continue.
But they kind of like relate it to like the people being here to support him, just like he supported them, and makes it a pretty heartfelt sort of thing. The next person to go up and speak is Griselda, who mostly talks about how efficient he was as a king and the kind of things that he did that benefited the city, and it seems a little less of like an emotional, heartfelt thing, and more of like a, official business, professional relationship kind of thing. But you get the sense that like she's talking about that to avoid having to talk about the more emotional side of things that she's feeling. This is like a coping mechanism. And then Clovis comes up and speaks. And he talks about sort of what it was like growing up with the former king as like a father, and the difference between him ruling over the city as opposed to him, just in an everyday at home sort of environment. And he explains that they were vastly different. He was he was at times a very stern ruler, and he had all these situations where he had to be stern, and he had to be a king. But then he talks about the kind of shenanigans he would get up to around the house, like switching out some of Griselda's stationery with stationery she had thrown out because it was empty, and then just watching her be confused. And just things he would do around the house, like where he would have one of the more fond memories that Clovis remembers, that kind of chokes him up a little bit as he talks about it. But it's the memories of where he would have these little quote unquote picnics inside the house, rather than doing the formal dining setup or anything. He would just have like a blanket in the main hall, and he would have him and Clovis and sometimes Griselda when she wasn't busy, they would sit together and share a little picnic meal. Just something simple that was that he says is something that he'll miss. And he talks about the responsibility passed down to him and how he hopes he'll do Sebastian proud. And everyone kind of gives him a quiet cheer. It's not like, crazy, like, woo, like clapping.
Oh my god.
But like everyone gives him a bit of a hear kind of thing. And he bows his head to all the people here at the proceedings in thanks for coming out to celebrate his life together, and explains that it means a lot to him. At which point he goes and joins Griselda standing by the side. And other individuals take their turns to come up and speak about what he's done for the city, what he's done for them and their families, and how he's improved the quality of life for everyone living here. Some of them, make comments about certain decisions that were made that turned out to actually be Clovis's decisions, but he stays quiet about that. And you can tell that Clovis has kind of like a mixed feeling going on where, like, yeah, I'm king now, but I'm still minus my father. So he's kind of stuck in this weird limbo in between still. And after everyone's done saying some words about Sebastian, they move him over to They move him over to like
What?
that's just the vacuum moving.
I thought that was like I thought that was a dog.
Yeah, no. They kind of move him over to like I suppose like an altar sort of area, where they put him there to be cremated. And it's like an altar, the base of which is stone, but then they have wood from like the Vaskyr trees there as set up in more or less a bonfire kind of setup. And they have a torch from one of the Vaskyr braziers that is always burning. They light a torch from that flame, bring it over, and hand it to Clovis, who goes ahead and ignites the wood. And the smoke, as the fire catches more, the smoke billows up into the sky and is like a beacon that reaches all the way up toward the clouds. And everyone stands around silently as it burns. And it's about 15-20 minutes of people standing quietly and respectfully before the funeral director says a few more final words and gives a thanks to everyone for attending. And says that the proceedings are coming to a close. Now that it's like the fires are still burning, but they will collect the ashes after it burns out completely. So they allow people to take their leave now, respectfully at this point, if they wish, or you can stick around until the end. But yeah. Up to you guys what you would like to do.
Suppose Diana sticks around.
Mm-hmm.
I assume like Simone and Ares and like everyone was there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Simone and Eris stick around. Most of the townsfolk are just slowly making their way toward the path that leads around the palace. This is out the back end of the palace, by the way. And there's kind of like a path leading around the side to the main, I suppose, square of the city. Most of the people are slowly making their way out there. There are still a few stragglers staying behind. There are a few guild leaders and Simone and Eris, or you guys if you wish to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay for a bit.
Might as well.
All right. So all of you hang around until the fires burn out completely. It takes a couple of hours. And then the funerary director has some assistants help Griselda and Clovis properly gather the ashes and place them into an urn. And they properly seal it. And they have Clovis take it down into the family crypt to place it upon his place there.
Mm-hmm.
And after a little bit, Clovis comes back out, and they seal up the crypt. And he heads over towards everyone else who's stayed behind, and he says, "Thank you for being here till the end."
Daddy smiles and nods.
Oh.
Lazara puts an arm around his shoulder and says, we couldn't leave you, buddy.
Fuck.
He kind of gives like a bit of a laugh, but he nods and thanks, and then steps forward and gives Diana a big hug. And as the assistants begin like clearing up the altar that was there, everybody else heads inside the palace where it's a lot warmer. Hanging around the fire was nice, but once the fire went out, your bodies remembered just how cold it was in Vaskyr when there's not a big roaring fire in front of you.
It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Diana's like, you guys are weenies.
Diana, Simone, and Ares are just like,
Yeah, whatever.
Like, whatever. It's fine.
Everyone else realizes it's bloody cold, but they're just like, yeah, you know.
it's whatever.
It is what it is. You all head inside the palace, and you have the remainder of the day, which is spent by Griselda and Clovis organizing these and properly sending out these memos. They sent some out the previous day to sort of get everyone ready.
Yeah.
And then they sent out a little reminder today. And that's what they're organizing. The guards are going around door to door, handing out these memorandums. And everyone's going about their usual business. It's kind of a more solemn kind of feel.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's normal.
I guess at some point during the day after all of this, Diana's gonna drop by the Hunters Guild to pick up the bow thing.
Yes. So you... Oh yeah, that was ready today, hey?
Yeah.
So you head by the Hunters Guild and you pick up the thing you had him make for you. And old Tav is he kind of like shakily hands it to you, and you can understand why he meant someone needs to be pretty tough to use the thing, because like the power in the bowstring, like it's real taut, and that's just kind of the way it had to be made from what he's made it from and how he's made it. It kind of had to be made real taut and tough because there's a lot of power in it.
Makes sense. Well, I thank him. And I think I already paid him.
You did, yes. You paid in advance.
And add back.
Okay.
I do have something I want to do before the end of the day, before we go to bed.
Okay.
So if anyone else has stuff they want to do before
Alright.
that.
So, what does everyone else want to do for the rest of the day?
I just got an idea of what I want to do.
Okay.
I'm going to do the same thing I did the other day, but not exactly this. Well, I'm just gonna make more arrows, but different arrows. Those are. That's actually an idea that I just thought about. That would probably be interesting.
Okay. What arrows are you making exactly?
So for that, I want it to be an arrow that when you shoot it, when you fire it, is when the effect triggers. And that would be that basically it's like it would cast like a minor illusion around it, like multiplies the arrow, just visually.
Okay.
Just think it'd be neat.
Yeah, okay. Roll your... You have arrows, so I'll let you roll your knowledge runes check. I keep forgetting the name of it. I keep wanting to say like rune crafting, but that's not it.
Is there a thing like rune crafting?
I mean, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But you...
Wouldn't that be more like creating?
Yeah, like making up your own rune.
I guess, yeah.
Be more like an Ares thing, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
Creating magic.
Yeah. So you place this effect on them where successfully, and you can do that with 5 arrows.
All right.
Where you can put this effect on them where it will... they'll have to pass a investigation check to see like what arrows are there, but there'll be a disadvantage because it's arrows that all move very fucking fast.
It's coming at them.
Yeah.
And I assume that's something that would only trigger like that the disadvantage would only be if they can see the arrow coming. I assume.
Yeah, so basically it would give off an effect where if something is like ready for you to fire an arrow at it, not anymore.
It was
where
ready
it'll
before.
fire multiple arrows, but only one of them is the real one, and they have to try and they have like a split second to discern which one's which if they intend on dodging it.
Okay. Good to know. Right, so I'll write these things down. You said investigation?
Yes, investigation with your spell save DC as the DC
Okay.
to discern which arrow is which.
Right now it's DC 16. Alright. Thanks. I'll write those down.
Alrighty. You got 5 of those. Was there anything else that anyone wanted to do?
The thing I have to do like probably at night because it's going to be like a long rest kind of thing. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Alrighty. And anything for Zyra?
I want to here's something I haven't done in a while. I want to look through the Necromancer spellbook again for a new ritual.
I'd forgotten all about that. Sure. Give me a 1 sec. All right, roll a Arcana check.
All right. Nice.
All right. Okay. So you find a. I'll type it to you, but you find a. You're able to decipher what is a necromancy ritual for a spell called Bone Pile.
Okay.
I'll send it to you in like the chat here separately.
Okay.
Um, okay. Hastily typed out, so there may be spelling errors, but there it is.
Okay.
So you're able to study this spell. It's a ritual spell though, so it'll take you a while to cast. It's not like an immediate
So-
cast thing.
Is that 4th level?
4th level spell, yes.
Okay, so should be. Let's see. To copy that, that would be 200 gold and 4 hours, right?
Yes.
Okay. Lazara's gonna spend the next 4 hours on that.
Alrighty. So you spend the next few hours of basically the afternoon up until around tea time or dinner time to copy down this spell and sort of understand what goes on in like the ritual of it all. So now that is a thing you can do, but you can only control like one at a time, I should
Okay.
say. And yeah, it's not like crazy strong, but it's pretty good.
I could see it being useful.
Yeah. The other ones in there, there's maybe a couple of other spells in there that are you are able to discern are sort of ritual spells, but they're pretty high level, and you're fairly certain that they're more theoretical, and the guy who wrote them in there in the first place probably couldn't even cast them himself.
So I'm not going to find any more out of this.
I mean, it might be worth hanging on to. You might be able to discern something from those, but they might be a bit trickier.
Okay. I mean, if anyone knows whether or not they work at Vieira, so
Yeah, that's true.
okay.
So, what did Diana want to do?
Yeah, so I guess late in the evening when people are getting ready to end the day,
Yeah.
assuming Clovis has gone back to his room.
Yeah.
I was just gonna go up to him and ask him, like, so how you doing? Like,
Yeah.
if he's doing.
Is he doing okay?
Sick.
Yeah. I'll need you to roll an insight check for me. Because, like, he nods and smiles, but you kind of notice like there's a little bit of a waver in his smiling, and you know that he's kind of feeling a bit raw at the moment.
Mm.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty rough.
Are you sure?
He keeps smiling, but he kind of looks down and shakes his head.
Oh, she gives him a hug.
Okay. You go and give him a big old tiefling hug.
Big old squeeze.
The big squeeze. Help him feel better. He gives you a great big hug back. And he doesn't like weep, but he kind of silently sheds some tears as he holds onto you. And this goes on for a little while, before he eventually sort of takes a deep breath, clears his throat, cleans himself up a bit. And he asks if you'd like some tea.
I could go for some tea.
He goes to fetch you both some tea. And you kind of get the impression that, like, yeah, you could both use some tea right now. But, like, he also kind of, like, wanted to get out of the room and, like, you know, have a moment to himself to just kind of, like, gather himself and get himself together. So he doesn't have to do that in front of you.
Jeez.
Yeah, but he goes and makes some tea and brings it back for you guys. And he says, well, end of an era, start of a new one, I guess.
Pretty much. I mean, it's gotta be rough at first, but I'm sure you'll do great.
He smiles and then he says, well, I mean, I guess I've kind of technically been running the city for a little while now. It's just that now it's all official and it's, you know, it feels like a heavier sort of thing. Feels weird.
Yeah, I think I'd figure that out at some point beforehand.
Yeah. He's just kind of like, kind of weirded out about it a little bit. Bit uncomfortable, but, you know.
Oh, we'll get used to it.
Yeah.
Besides, the townspeople clearly really like you, so you'll be okay.
He says, well, it does make me feel better. And they know what they're doing anyway. It won't be too hard to run the place. My dad didn't really struggle with it, so I don't think I will.
Implying his dad's dumb.
Yeah. I mean, look.
God damn it, Chloe.
He's shared some stories, and you got an idea of what the king was like.
Yeah.
So
he was a child.
Yeah. But yeah.
What's that? Oh.
Mm.
Fuck.
You guys share your tea, and just kind of make some small talk for a while. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up with him?
Hmm. Diana says that because she's kind of worried about this when like the whole dragon thing got uncovered. She explains that she's glad that in the end they were like okay.
Oh, Clovis and Sebastian. He nods and he says, "Yeah, me too. I don't know what I would have done if we didn't end on good terms." He says, "I suppose I could always get like a cleric to, cast Speak with Dead, and then I could berate him over something or whatnot.
You
Get his opinion on
rang.
something." But yeah, it's like, but he says, "Well, I guess that's no. We cremated him. That wouldn't work anymore."
Oh shit.
Yeah. He said,
Like,
"Well,
oh no, I forgot the Wi-Fi password.
Dad, what was it?" Oh no.
Asking the important questions.
Yeah. Griselda would know.
Griselda knows all.
Yeah, Sebastian forgets the Wi-Fi password. Griselda's who we are. But yeah, so
yeah, it's you don't always get the chance to be there and say your goodbyes.
that is one thing that I'm quite thankful for. It doesn't. Not everyone gets that opportunity, and that sucks.
It's kind of like,
yeah.
Tell me about it. She explains that she's like, I mean, you know that Simon's not like biologically my dad.
Oh, I'm quite certain of that. Yes.
And she begins to explain that her parents were adventurers at the guild. I'm sure he'd know
who our father was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from like she explains
Heard
that
from stories. Yeah.
And she explains, I was 6 when they went off on a job. And yeah.
He thinks for a bit, and you can see him kind of mentally recalling all the stories of all the shenanigans they got up to. And it got to a point where, like, it was after a bit, we went into just him and Simon, like Sebastian and Simon. And then it was just more stories about the two of them. And he never really put it together before now that was because, like, Nathan died. Like, it just was never something that was brought up to him. Because, he was a kid growing up. He would get the stories of all the cool adventures. He never got all the in-between where bad things happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Sebastian would have made, like, a post to be like, so by the way, He died.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Clovis walks over to you and gives you a big old Clovis hug.
Clovis TM hug.
Royal cuddles. Yeah, big old hug. Over tea and tears. And he doesn't say anything, but you can feel the sort of like I'm sorry for your loss kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't so much a be sorry for me as much as it was a I'm glad you didn't have to like.
Yeah, no, there's a good understanding of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would have been a real awkward time to bring that up.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, no,
That's-
yeah.
yeah.
Just like, oh, my dad's died. Like, yeah, lol. Well, might have been dead for a while, so fuck you. Like, it wasn't like that. It was, I'm a level 7 dead parent. Like,
Get out
I
of your
had dead
fucking
parents
room.
before. It was cool.
so, yeah.
But yeah, I just figured it was an appropriate moment to share
Yeah.
that whole part of her life.
Yeah. You guys spend some time talking about some of the stories that Sebastian had shared with him, and you can help him sort of with your stories you've gotten from Simon determine which ones were real and which ones were embellished.
That's adorable.
And you guys just kind of share those good stories and the fun times and the crazy hijinks and shenanigans for a while. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to share with him while you've got him here? Or not like, oi, Clobanger, let's go out for drinks, yo.
No, I guess I just pretty much do that for
Cool.
the rest of the night.
Alrighty. What exactly did Faye want to do with the evening night?
It's gonna probably be like later at night when everyone's going to bed, but she is gonna pray to my Lil, and she's gonna. I need to change my spell, my spell slots and stuff like that. So she's gonna pray to my Lil and stuff like that. Perhaps probably ask some maybe advice on like what she can do for this upcoming battle and stuff like that as well.
Roll a religion check real quick.
All right.
Cool. You, as you spend your time like in prayer and connecting with my Lil, you do get, for the first time in a long time, something of a response on a sort of melodic tone. You hear a response that is along the lines of use the tools you have to defend those close to you, not so much as weapons, but more as defenses.
Do I get an idea of like exactly what he's meaning?
Insight, maybe?
Insight?
Yeah, it's kind of cryptic.
The only reason I'm saying this is because I, the player, am kind of a dumbass. And I need help. Yeah, boy!
Oh shit.
Do I have an idea what he's talking about? Net 20. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I suppose so, man. You get the sense that what he means is like rushing head on into battle would be quite dangerous, and maybe you should keep a good distance and just make sure that try and use your abilities to distract your opponent from your allies, so that they can also get in some good hits. Like, see what you can do to sort of defend everyone rather than focusing on attack. Could be
Right.
beneficial in this specific scenario.
Okay. Okay.
But that's what my little seems to think.
Okay. Also, real quick, this is just out of character and everything. So I made, I explained this. I make presets for whenever I have to change my spells and everything. So I made a preset for this. I think, Nick, do you still have that Google Doc that I said? Okay, so it's under the support one. And I was working on this, and unfortunately, I can't take any more level 3 spell slots because one of them is a ranger spell, and I have to keep remove curse as another one. So I'm out of level 3 spell slots and everything like that. But there's 2 spells, and I wanted to run it by you guys to see which ones you guys would prefer I have for this particular fight. I apologize. I don't want a metagame, but I do want you guys' opinion before I pick something and you're like, that's not going to be useful.
That's okay. That's not
metagaming. Okay. I just got to make sure. So the spell the 2 spells, I put it down as Shield of Fate. And then the other one I was thinking about taking aside Shield of Fate is Aid. And I'll explain what these spells do. So Aid is up to 3 creatures of your choice, their current max HP. And it lasts for 8 hours. So that's really handy and everything like that. And then the other one, which is the one I originally had picked out for this, but where is it? It's a first level, isn't it? So it'll be right here. Okay. Shield of Fate, and it's a creature of your choice gets a +2 bonus duration. And it's the only thing is it's a concentration spell, and I have a few other concentration spells. But that means, so if I was to use a spell on someone else, but I had to say use a different spell that would require concentration, that would cancel it out. But I just wanted your guys' opinion first of what you think would be more useful for this particular fight.
I mean, one might think, it's 5 hit points, but 5 hit points can be the difference between you dropping and not.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, because I actually was working on this. I was actually asking Kay for advice because he was I was like, hey, what do you recommend? And we were stuck between these 2 and everything like that. And I was like, do you think people would really like the 5 extra hit points, or would someone prefer who's going to be up close to battle prefer the +2 AC? So I just wanted to run it by you guys before I, I set in stone pick which ones I do.
Okay. Aid is 2nd level.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it 2nd level? Oh, you're right. It is. Awesome. Okay. Let me look at my spell slots real quick. Make sure that I'm actually not going overboard on this.
So you could have both, but
I could have both. Oh.
Because you have your 1st level and then you have your 2nd level, which is spiritual weapon. But
spiritual weapon, it goes with my. Oh wait. I was gonna say that goes with
If you were 3rd level cleric, you would have it by default.
Yeah, but I don't have it yet. It's there. So if I remove spiritual weapon, unfortunately. But and then the other one, the one I do get to keep by default, which is nice, is I get to keep bless for you guys. So you guys will always have bless as well.
That's pretty useful.
Yep.
I reckon Aid could be more useful than we realize, because sometimes 5 hit points can
make or break. Yeah. It can make or break your day. And, okay.
Yeah, you could probably use that for whoever has the less hit points.
Yep. Well, it's going to be up to 3 creatures. Yeah, so I can cast it before the fight, so you guys get that 5 additional hit points. Unfortunately, I don't get it because it excludes the caster, but
that sucks.
It lasts for 8 hours and it's not concentration, so it's do that well before the fight and just be woo.
And if you want, you can even cast it at a higher level, but then that would take a 3rd level slot away.
Okay. Yep. And then I'll just let you guys know exactly the spells I do have, so that way you guys are aware and I don't just throw something at you randomly. So I have Guiding Bolt. That's going to be really nice for you guys if I do land a hit, because the next attack hit will get advantage on the attack roll. And I have healing word, gonna get aid. I have spiritual weapon just as like a backup in case something happens.
Yeah.
And then I have and then remove curse, which I have to have for the thing for the ritual. So just thought I'd let you know that's what I got for you guys for this.
Cool.
So there we go. I'm gonna update my little thingy. And then So
Okay.
healing word. All right, that's all I wanted to do for the day. For the rest of the day, that is.
All right. So, did anyone else have anything else they wanted to do for the night before the big day? The big oof.
The big
The big oof.
The big oof.
Personally, not really.
Guiding bolt.
They're
Which
just
is
spending
already
the next
in
night,
there.
like, hanging out with her boo. What are you guys doing with your lives?
I was actually thinking about like before, like switching out my spells, like like sending, like doing sending to Bo, and be like, "How's my dog? Is he
Yes,
okay?"
he is me.
I didn't put him to bed on time. Put him on the phone so he can hear me. He'll know what it means.
No way.
I saw this one vine and I saw it and I was just like, this is exactly Fate. It's just all like I have to
I
have
don't
to
know,
find
like
it.
the dad, like
No,
looking
it's
after
like
the
on
dog?
no, it's a vine and this girl on the phone. She's all like, "Okay, I love you, I missed you," and then she hangs up. She's like, "It's my dog." I was like, "That's Fate."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only other thing I was thinking about doing, but I already did my thing, so
Sweet.
Bum-bum-ba-da-ba.
I guess we're figuring out potions and everything in the morning, so
Okay.
Yeah.
Most likely, yeah.
Okay, so aid.